Hey guys, I'm George, a school lunchbox dad, but guess what? I also eat. Surprise, surprise. So what I do is, my theory is, why should kids have all the fun? So what I do is, I create a week's worth of adult bentos for myself and my wife. So what I do is, every Sunday, I take about an hour and a half, 2 hours out of my day, and I create my week's worth of bentos, or my dad lunches I call them, and I'll explain why and how. My adult bento ingredients, I've got a week's worth of chicken, which is about 4 chicken breasts. I've got some microwave rice, and I'll explain why I use microwave rice for my adult lunches. And my herbs and spices for the chicken is my own little secret that I probably saw someone else use. So I've got vegetable oil, Hungarian style sweet paprika, which is delicious. I've got onion, it's onion powder I should say. I've got chili, I've got cayenne pepper, yes I am spicy, garlic powder, and finally I've got some salt. Now what it is I'm recreating a southern style Nashville chicken, but it's grilled and it's actually good for you, and I've got no brown sugar in there at all, so no fear. So there are the ingredients. Firstly, chicken. I always use chicken breast, though the thigh is delicious and juicy, but it does contain more fat, so I stick to the chicken breast, and it's relatively cheap as well. So for about, it's about $9, $10 worth there, and divided by 5 days, it's like $2 a serving of chicken a day for lunch, and I think that's pretty cheap. So what I do is, I really don't season it much. All I use is basically a little bit of vegetable oil, and I put the vegetable oil on the chicken rather than on the barbecue. So just a light drizzle, and just mush it around a bit. So just getting all the oil on the chicken. And I'll leave it in the tray that it comes in because it's less wash up for me. So now, popping it on the grill, I make sure the barbecue is nice and hot. And the reason why I use the barbecue rather than cooking inside is that it's like, really, who cleans their barbecue? I don't know anyone that does. So that's one less thing I need to worry about cleaning. No frying pans, no smell, no grease, no oil flopping around everywhere in the kitchen. And I don't get in trouble. And most importantly, it's less work. So we want to keep it simple because it's the weekends are for fun and enjoying family time. So, simple, straight on the grill, all at once. How easy is that? Now, you can either grab a drink, chill out a little bit, or we can prepare for things to be a little bit easier when the chicken's cooked. So, while that's done, I actually close the lid. Now, I don't use any herbs or spices while it's cooking. That comes after, because I'm trying to follow the Nashville Southern style chicken style. So, that's cooking. Now, what I do is, I like to baste the chicken when it's finished cooking, and then I cut it up and have it ready for my bentos. So what I do is, I grab a, like one of these stainless steel bowls, because they're just easy to clean as well. So remember, not to contaminate. So these tongs that use the chicken, get rid of that. And we don't want to cross-contaminate our food, because chicken's one of the most dangerous foods, so you've got to know what you're doing. So now, all I do is, I get vegetable oil, about a tablespoon or 2. Vegetable oil. The herbs and spices, I start with salt, about a tablespoon. Actually, let's go teaspoon of salt. Cayenne pepper. Now you always season to taste, but I go about half a teaspoon because cayenne is a spicy chili. I've also got ground chili as well, and I do the same. Now the reason why I use two different types of chili is because the cayenne is sweeter and normal chili is all about the punch. So that's that. Onion powder, about a teaspoon. Garlic powder, I use this for a lot of things. And I go a teaspoon as well. And last but not least, sweet paprika. Absolutely beautiful. Used a lot in Mexican cooking, like Southern Europeans use it a lot. And there you go, 1 tablespoon. And there we have it. So, you can see it's creating like a paste. It's almost like a sauce. The consistency is perfect. All the flavors are there. And there's a bit of bite to this, or a bit of a kick. Whew. Oh, it's so good. So, we put that to the side. Now, earlier I spoke to you, I mentioned rice. I like basmati rice, it's just personal preference. But you can always use black rice. If you've never heard of black rice, give that a go. It's probably one of the best carbs you can eat. Actually really good for you. Even red rice, then there's brown rice and white rice. Now, black rice is just unbleached rice, so it's at its purest form. So I love black rice. But I do like these. These are about $1.30 a pack, and I get 2 lunches out of this. The best thing is, because I heat up my lunch in my bento, you can just pop it in the microwave for 90 seconds, and the chicken is heated, but most importantly, it cooks the rice, because it does say it's perfect in 90 seconds. So if it says it's perfect in 90 seconds, it's got to work. So then what I do is, just to give you an idea, I just rip the top off, add half the contents in my bento, which is about half a cup of basmati rice. So I put that to the side, and let's check on the chicken. Okay, still needs time. With chicken, you can't half cook it, you can't have it medium, you can't have it rare, it's always got to be cooked well. Chicken's one of the most temperamental meats or poultry that you can cook, but just make sure it's always cooked through. The good thing is that I also reheat it for my school lunch, for my work lunch, which means it also cooks it in that process as well. So, we'll be back after the chicken's cooked. Hang 5. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, let's check the status of the chicken, which I'm pretty sure is cooked and ready to go. So, this is how I this is how I assemble my adult lunch or my dad lunch. So, open the lid. Yep, that's pretty cooked. Grab my chicken. Now, before I cut up, remember I've got my secret herbs and spices that I gave you the secret of my herbs and spices. So, all I do is, with a spoon, and just drizzle it on top. Now that infuses and also caramelizes while the chicken is still hot. So that's just absolutely delicious. So you don't need much because it does have a punch. So all I do now is cut it and pop it in my bento. So using my bento knife, my clean set of tongs, just slice. So you'll be the envy of all your work colleagues. This is cooked perfectly. So, oh, that's so good. I'll be back. This is so good. Oh, it's so good. Whew. So, as you can see, I got basmati rice. I got my southern style chicken without the gilt. Remember, it's grilled. Very little vegetable oil. And it's all the punch and all the flavors coming from the secret herbs and spices. So I put that in there. So the only thing I'll do now is add my snackables, things I snack on during the day. Now that's a pretty impressive lunch. So remember, dollar-wise, we were $2 for the chicken, and the rice was about, half a serve was about $1.50, about 75 cents. So I put my carrots, because I love munching on carrots. And they're good as well because I spend time in the car a fair bit, so I can just munch on the carrots. I love mini tomatoes. And for good measure, I got a red plum. Now, I'll eat that every day, any day. So for the week, I'll eat, instead of white rice for another day, I might have a salad, or I might have couscous, now that we know how to do it. And I'll vary the fruit and veggies just to make it a bit different. But the chicken for me, I love, and I'm more than happy to eat it a couple of times a week at least. The good thing is, once it's done and you've cut it, you can freeze it, and you can freeze chicken for up to 3 months, or you can refrigerate and it will last you 4 to 5 days. Now, because it's cooked, remember you're going to re-cook it, you're going to reheat it, and that will also cook it further. So for me, this dad lunch, I'll tell you what, I cannot wait to get into it. So I hope you get something out of this, and remember, preparation's the key. A couple hours on the Saturday, have a drink while the barbie's doing its work, and remember, if you got any comments, make sure you write them below, and I'd love to respond to any questions or queries. And yes, you can use beef, you can use lamb, you can use many other things. You can just have vegetables using the same herbs and spices. So yeah, you can go for your vegetarian options and still get the flavour. And you do certainly leave comments, I'd love to respond. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friends. Bye for now, I'm going to eat.